Guys and stress, welcome back to my channel. In today's video, we shall be drafting a pattern for this A-line tiered skirt. So this here is my basic sketch block. Before we create the A-line, I'm just going to go ahead and create the band. To do that, I'm just going to go ahead and take a measurement that is going to be between 2 inch to 3 inches deep from the waistline. So from the waistline, I'm just going to take a measurement like this, either 3 inches or 2 inches deep for our waistband. Because our waistline is curved, it's not a straight line, I'm going to have to do this in bits. I don't want to overwhelm it and do something wrong. So I'll set this aside and then work with the waistband. Next thing I'll do is just cut off the dart. This is our center front, remember? So our center front is going to remain constant while we'll bring this under like this. I'm going to hold it down with a tip. At this point, you'll notice there's something that's coming out under and it's not smooth. So I'm just going to go ahead and smoothen it using a curve. Using my scissors, I'm going to trim off the excess. And this is what we have. So I'm going to set it aside and continue working with the skirt pattern itself. So yes, let me indicate it center front. Center front. So what we're going to do is from our center front, we're going to take a measurement to our dart point like this. 3 inches. We're going to mark. And then we go ahead and do the same thing here. We'll then connect the 2 points like this with a straight line. So next thing I'm going to do is just to go ahead and slash this line completely to create my skirt. But before then, I'm going to take a measurement of my second tier, which is going to be largely dependent on you. I shall be working with say 5 inches, so I'm just going to go ahead and mark it like this from the hem. Remember, the skirt length is dependent on what you want. I'm just going to use a ruler like this and connect them. So time to slash. Next thing I'm going to do is to go ahead and spread a piece of paper under for my spread. Remember, it's a slash and spread thing. Now I am ready to spread. I'm going ahead and place the front pattern, as the center front side here on our brown paper. Now I'm going to pick up this piece and bring it under. Remember, when rotating your dart, your center front remains constant. It is this other piece that moves towards the center front. For that reason, we're just going to bring this directly under like this. And while you're doing that, ensure that this darts overlap. That's the dart legs. It shouldn't be halfway. If you do it halfway, you're going to have a problem with your band because it's not going to fit. However, if you lap it properly and you bring in your waistband like this, you'll see that everything fits perfectly, and this is what we're aiming for. So now that I've gone ahead and done my spread, I'm just going to hold it down with a tip here. Still creating my A-line skirt. So I'm just going to go ahead and take the measurements between this piece here and this piece here. Whatever I get, I divide by 2. Okay, I have 1.5, which means I'm going to measure 3/4 of an inch from this end here. So I'm just going to go ahead and measure 3/4 of an inch like this. So using a ruler, I'll then connect it to the waist like this. And while I'm still there, I'm going to use a curve to connect the hem. This is basically how you go about creating a basic A-line skirt block or pattern. So this is what we have. I'm just going to go ahead now, hold everything down together and trim off the excess, and I'll be back. So here it is. I've gone ahead and trimmed off my excess. Next thing I'm going to do is just to go ahead and perfect my 3-inch line, which is this. I can choose to perfect it, and I can choose to leave it the way it is. Connect. Connect. So I'm going to trim it off to separate the pattern pieces. So I'm going to set this aside, then work with this. As usual, I'm going to go ahead and create slash lines that we shall be working with. So I'll label them 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. 5 being our center front. And then I'll slash them off completely. So what we're going to do now is just to go ahead and spread them piece of paper. I'll place a piece of paper underneath and I'll go back. So remember the center front is number 5. So I'm just going to go ahead and start spreading with 5. And like I told you, your center front is constant all the time. So I'm just going to do something like this and hold it down with a tip. Now from 5, I'm going to take a measurement of my desire. Depends on how full you want your skirt to be. I'm going to be working with, let's say, between 3 to 5 inches. So from 5 here, I'm just going to go ahead and take a measurement of what I want and mark. That's the measurement I shall be working with. I'll do the same thing here. I'll mark. Then bring number 4 like this and place it here. I'll hold it down with a tip. And then I'll do the exact same thing until I exhaust the pieces. So here, this is what my final piece looks like. I'm just going to bring it here like this. You cut this, unfold this, unfold this, unfold. You do the same thing to your back as well. You join all pieces together, and then for the lower part here, you're going to create gathers using gathered stitch, and then you attach them to the lower part of your skirt. I hope you find this helpful. See you in the next tutorial. Bye.